right, welcome into the Homies Overtime. I will be driving the ship tonight. Your host, B Dirt, with the boys Tate and Pay in the building. Gentlemen, our NFL pick'ems last week each of us did 2 games. This week, I've got it set up so each of us can pick each game. But last week, if anybody out there listening to us put some ducats on these games, we were 5-1. Not too shabby.
I took the L.
Yeah, but I can't blame you for taking the Chargers over the Texans. I don't think a lot of people had that on their bingo board.
Yeah.
3 parlays. Killed. Thanks a lot, Harbaugh. Who's got it better than us?
I don't think Harbaugh threw 4 picks. I'm just saying.
Ooh, yeah, he didn't. He didn't throw 4 picks. Hey, does what's his name? Herbert, does he have a playoff win to his credit yet?
Nope.
There'd be no.
And he was the quarterback when the Jaguars came back and, from 35 down or whatever, right?
He lost to Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. I wonder when he's gonna start getting smoked. But what was you saying, Big Dirt?
I was saying gamble like Campbell, baby. That's gonna be the theme. It's gonna be theme of the night. So so Big G wasn't with us at Homies. I don't know if Big G's gonna be here for the OT. We're hoping so. Pay and I especially, because he still owes a pound of flesh.
He's got a lot of pounds.
I've received no tears. I've received no big cap. Nothing. Got nothing. 2 weeks in a row, not here. He's just taking the playoffs off, I guess. So
say it with your chest, B Dirt. He ducking us.
Ducking. You know what? I think this might run in the family.
Ooh.
I think it might. We'll let it go. All right. Major says B Dirt with the wardrobe change. That's right. The rest y'all low effort. Got to go with the wardrobe change, man. We're going. We've adopted alliance for the playoffs. It is what it is. I don't know what to do here because I kind of want to get in. I don't know if Big G's coming or not. I kind of want to table the top thing I want to talk about, which is the CFP playoffs, just to see if he may peek in here or not. So I'm going to start off with this, man. I want to know what you guys thought of Tom Brady as an announcer. Did you think he got any better in the play-by-play realm through the year? You think he's still big trash? Do you think him not being able to meet with the teams affected his ability to do his job? And what do you think, going forward? Do you think he's getting more involved now as an owner with the Raiders? And they said they're going to lean on him for what they're going to do and moves they're going to make and things of that nature to get more of his opinion, man. Do you think that, can Tom Brady do both jobs or should he hang one up? What do you think? Pay, I'll let you start off.
Well, I've been asking myself this question for the longest because I guess that I'm telling myself I'll be talking to myself half the day. I don't know why he accepted the Fox gig and with the desire to actually own a team. Why do you want to do both? I don't get it. I mean, do one or the other. I mean, if you want to be ahead of state of a team with your boy, I'm blanking on the guy's name right now.
Whack haircut.
Yeah, him. If you want to, rub shoulders with him and the rest of the owners, cool, do that.
Davis, right?
Yeah, Al Davis' son, Mark Davis. But Fox is giving you 300 M's. Why would this be a decision? Do you know how much money an NFL owner makes in a given year?
I don't.
Well, if we're going off the Packers, it was about about 50 million gross, right? Profit.
The Packers are part community based owned too,
right?
Though.
So that's why we know how much the Packers made in profit. Everybody's pockets is different, but we know you made at least 50 million. Now we're talking about Tom Brady. He's a minority owner of a team that's probably still paying a lot of bills after a recent move to a new city, right? So the remuneration, the profit for him ain't really there. It's just all power, right? So the Fox thing is all money. It's just a money play. For me, money is always going to be top of mind. I'll take the money. I say I'll come back to that. The owner's thing is always going to be there. I can always jump in and be an owner. I'm gonna get this money right now first, though, and so I'm gonna do my best I can do here. Just be better than Peyton Manning in another avenue. I'll continue. I'll do that. Get all that money from Fox, then come back being an owner. Doing the thing at the same time, it just made no sense to me. Now, to answer your other question, B, about is he getting better? Personally, I don't ever be paying attention, to be honest with you. When I'm watching football, I'm the worst person to watch football with because I got the remote in my hand. I'm always rewinding and go back and watch it play again, then come back live. I'm skipping through the time when they're in the huddle, doing all that stuff. It's kind of hard for me to do that. I have a little ADD to that point. But the parts that I do watch when it's crunch time, when I'm listening to what the announcers are saying, he sounds like just a random guy. He doesn't do anything with any flair. He's not Romo, right? When Romo was definitely in his bag, when Romo was in his prime behind the mic, he's not him. He's not even Chris Collinsworth. He hasn't found his voice yet. And he's a rookie in this avenue. So you can give him some leeway. But my opinion is that because you're stretching yourself thin with your ownership with the Raiders and doing this thing with Fox, on the number one set, on the number one call, it leaves a lot to be desired because you don't have the runway to get better. You don't have all the tools, all the necessary data that you get from teams to get better. And as the GOAT quarterback, you shouldn't need that much, but still, if it's available to you, you want it. But in my opinion, you should sell your shares and just go back and just get real deep into this game calling thing. Or maybe you got enough money. You don't think like me. I came up a different way. So I want all my money, but you can't do both, in my opinion. Tell you how you feel about it.
Yeah, Major said his voice is too gravelly. I don't
have a voice for calling games. Maybe he don't.
The voice that doesn't bother me at all. I think early on, man, especially early on, there were times where his voice would like peter out over the call of the game, and he would start getting like gaps, and you'd hear his voice struggle or whatever. It's a different ball game, man. When you start talking for a living and doing this stuff, like you got to really kind of make sure you have water, make sure you have something going on, and he's just not used to that, I don't think. So that's one of those things. As far as a gravelly voice, man, I don't care.
Water, tea, and the secret weapon to anybody that content creates or talks in a microphone for a bunch of hours throughout the week for work.
The throat coat lozenge.
You definitely need it.
Tate, what do you think, man? How do you think he is as an announcer, and do you think he can do both gigs?
I agree with Pay. First year, that part. First year. I mean, he gets a trial period. He's good enough. We know he's knowledgeable enough. He just has to, like you say, find his voice, find his rhythm, find his style, right? And I think that will happen with repetition. The more he does it. I mean, I didn't like Romo at first, but now I'm used to Romo. I like Romo's input. You know what I mean? But I wasn't a fan of he didn't sound like he necessarily studied. I'm sure he does, but it didn't sound like he did at first. When you get to hear him for a few years, and man, Romo be on it. I like Romo now. I mean, I feel like Tom Brady can be just as good as Troy Aikman. I mean, to me, he's clearly better than the number one guy Fox had last year was Greg Olsen. Clearly better than upgrade over Olsen. I mean,
I think a lot of people like Olsen too.
No, he's clearly better than Olsen than me. I mean, and it may be Olsen may call the games better, but Tom Brady is a brand of himself. So he's going to bring people to just like Tom Brady. You know what I mean? That's why Fox is paying him them big bucks. And I mean, he's a football guy. He played what 22 years. He's a football guy, so he wants the challenge of I won it as a quarterback 7 times. Now, yeah, I want to jump in this ownership thing and help turn the team around. And what better place to be, a minority owner of a team than in Miami or Vegas? Great cities to own a team in and have to visit all the time. I mean,
Yeah,
Magic Johnson came way from LA to the other side of the country to here in Washington, D.C. area to be a minority owner.
I think if it wasn't for that tampering, he would own a stake in Miami. I think it was like, you know what? I'm gonna take a step back from that. And he went with his boy Mark. But yeah, I agree that the competitive fire never dies, right? And I think the only reason he's doing this with Fox is to try to one up Peyton. And that's just my opinion.
And that too goes back to competitiveness.
Mm-hmm.
He's linked. Him and Peyton are linked. And maybe he wants to do the ownership thing better than Peyton, right? I mean, he beat Peyton in
Peyton owns something. What is Peyton? I know he owns things outside
Omaha.
of football. Yeah,
Omaha
well, he has his own media company, right? I didn't know he owned anything with football related though.
I didn't either. So when you brought him up, I figured he must.
No, I was speaking about you got the old Peyton, the Manning cast and all that stuff.
Oh no, he can get that easy. He can get that easier, and being a minority of a team and helping be part of the regime that turns it around as bad as the Raiders have been for the last 20 years. You turn that around, you're onto something. You put your fingerprints on it, your style, which is obviously a mix of his own and some of the Belichick game planning and all that kind of stuff. I would know he knows how to build a football team down to 53. It's not just about star players. He's going to help them identify good guys, which is why they're starting over. Why they got rid of Antonio Pierce. Why I think Mark Davis wants Tom Brady involved. It's football knowledge, football pedigree from a strategic standpoint, and he offers that a lot on his broadcast. And it's his brand. His brand helps the Raiders. The GOAT football player of all time is part of the Raider organization. I think Tom Brady's just fine. I think you get your 300 M's from Fox. You go ahead and take on this ownership thing. I mean, because he can do that because he can do that. Fox need him more than he need Fox. So they're not going to do nothing. Now, what you looking like that for?
I don't know if Fox need him more than the other way around.
I'm watching the game regardless who's calling it.
That's true.
At 4:30 game on Fox, going to be on the tube.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. No matter who called it, they could bring Olsen back or put one of they B-list guys on there, and you still watch it. But Tom Brady brings some people watch the Chiefs just so hoping they can get a look at Taylor Swift. You have people that aren't as into the game as true hardcore fans are that want to see good football. Don't even gotta be from your team, just be from two teams playing each other.
Yeah, the young lady that cuts my hair, man, literally got tickets to the Chiefs game on Christmas to take her daughter because her daughter wanted to see if they'd see Taylor Swift here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that part. That's
wild. Chris Foster, I was just going to let him continue doing his frustrated Chicago sports fan show in the live chat, but you've put it up here. He said he is who we thought he was. Mahomes, they said. NFL ready, they said. Generational, they said. We were right, and the Caleb call was wrong. Caleb Kamala Williams, nice sacks, loser. 5-12.
What was he talking about, Pay? Shout out to Chris Foster. I'm guessing he must be a frustrated Chicago sports fan that you know.
I gotta believe it. That sounds like some of the stuff I get from the Packers people in the comments. That don't sound like a Bears fan, but he might. There's a schism in the Bears Nation. There's the Caleb people, and there's the Justin Fields is like Derrick Rose in Chicago. I mean, he's got a following, right? So that's where this is coming from.
I don't
and
know. I
that's
think
fine.
I thought he was torching Justin Fields early too. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. It was hard to keep up with. He did. He put a short novel in the chat really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I hate Fields and Caleb. There's the answer.
I think.
Wow.
And Pace is one of those fans that are never happy. I'm guessing he's a Bears fan, and I feel like Caleb Williams was a good pick. I think Jaden Daniels has played so well this season that you kind of question it. But if you had to do it over again, you still draft Caleb Williams from what you knew coming into the draft. Jaden Daniels just happened to play way above board this year. But I think Caleb's not far behind. B Dirt, you put up a graph.
Yeah, the numbers are pretty similar.
Right.
Jaden's got a pretty decent advantage in the rushing yards. Other than that, they're pretty spot on, close.
Right.
But yeah, listen, you could make an argument because there were so many holes to fix in Chicago that you could have traded that pick. You can make that argument, no doubt. But I digress. One thing I wanted to ask you guys before we get into the NFL picks. We'll go into the NFL picks next. Is this news to you guys or no news that the NFL is now going to play another overseas game this year in Madrid? I believe they're sending the Dolphins over there. I haven't seen who they're playing.
Are they going to leave the Dolphins over there?
Oh man. I don't know that they are. They could.
It's no news to me, Big G. The NFL finds different international venues to play in every year. It's part of the expansion of the game. There was a thing called the World. Was it the World Football League?
Yeah, and Germany had a team. Barcelona had a team. You're starting to see some of these. The Barcelona Dragons, I think it was.
Right.
You're starting to see some of these guys. They're going to where these teams were for sure.
Yeah. So the NFL set the foundation for these moves. So just they're starting to cash in some of these chips. 15
Major
years.
said the Steelers to Ireland. I heard that in the rumor mill, but I never heard it for sure.
I heard it. I mean, maybe in the rumor mill, but I heard it.
That would be pretty cool.
It's definitely a thing.
Rooney sounds pretty Irish.
Rooney's are Irish. They're
I know.
Oh yeah,
yeah, original Irish gangsters.
Yeah, Art. First Art was ambassador to Ireland.
And the other, and wasn't the I thought it was the first Art was the also what was he, a bookie?
Oh, I don't know about that.
He won the money to buy he won the Steagles in a poker game, supposedly.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean Art the second was ambassador. Yeah, Art Rooney, the original. Yeah, he was that. Yeah.
Yeah. A little bit of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. All right. Time for first break, Tate. You want to get that in here, and then we'll come back and do our picks and get into some more NFL and we got college football, we got college basketball, we got all kinds of stuff to talk about.
Okay,
but we'll do that right after we hear from our sponsors. If you haven't had a chance yet, now's the time you go like, you subscribe, you share, you rate, review, give us those 5 stars, and we'll be right back after these messages. And we are back on the Homies Overtime, and it is time to get into our picks this week. All of us will give you kind of our overview of the game, and we will give you the pick for each game.
Gavin's right. I mean, Dan was in. Dan is Art the second's dad. That's right.
Yep. All right, so we're going to start off Saturday. Texans, the early game. Texans at the Chiefs. The Texans are plus 8.5. The over-under is 41.5. Tate, you give me what your thoughts are on this game, and then you can pick, and we'll, if we have anything to add, we'll add, and we'll also pick right behind you.
I think this was a matchup from the week before Christmas, because then both those teams played on Christmas Day because the Chiefs played the Steelers and the Ravens and Texans played. I think the Texans have been playing decent football the last 2 weeks. The last game and the game against San Diego, the Los Angeles Chargers last week. I really like C.J. Stroud, Patrick Mahomes. I'm wondering if there's going to be any element of rust because these guys ain't played. They took the week 18 off. Then they had a bye week. So they haven't played in 3 weeks. You know, yeah, they're good and healthy, but are they going to be rusty? Everybody should be full go. I like the Chiefs, I think, to win the game. I would probably take the over 41. But I probably am going to take 8.5.
8.5.
The way Houston looked last week against Kansas City, and it was at home though. But I still will take. I'm gonna take Houston, man, with the 8.5 plus 8.5.
All right. So we got Tate on the Texans. Pay, anything? Any of your thoughts different there? And who are you taking?
I agree with Tate. The Kansas City Chiefs could be rusty, but they're because they had that bye week. But these are championship guys, right? They got championship moxie. They've done this 2 times in a row. The Texans are playing with house money. They're playing above their head right now. They beat a team that was maybe fool's gold. I'm not convinced. I got the Chiefs, even though they're 89 against the spread this year. I got them covering. I got them by 10.
Yeah, I don't think Patrick Mahomes is going to throw 4 picks in this game. And I think they need those kind of turnovers. Not only with the championship pedigree do I not worry about the rust, but they were dinged up pretty bad too. That's 3 weeks for Patrick Mahomes to get his ankle right. That's some rest, I think, on some of their veteran players. They know what they're doing. I think the rest is more important than the rust for them. I think, look at what they did in week 1 playing against the Ravens. That game was one of the best games of the year. And that was them coming out, not playing hardly at all in the preseason or doing any of those things. I expect them to be fine. I think the Chiefs win this game by 14. I'm taking the Chiefs as well. All right, Pay, I'll let you break down the Commanders. I almost said the Commies again. The Commanders at the Lions. The Commanders are getting 8.5 points, and the over-under is 55.5. Pay, what's your breakdown on this game?
Commanders are going to DC. I'm not DC, but Detroit to play the number 1 seed in the NFC. Like I said last hour, the last time these 2 teams played each other in playoffs, it was a 1991 NFC Championship game. The Commanders have had a decent season, better than a lot of people thought. Jaden Daniels is playing extraordinarily well for a rookie because he's got a great offense that's dialed up for his unique abilities. Cliff Kingsbury did his thing with that one, but the buck stops here. Detroit's going to win, but I have enough respect for DC Commies to not lose by 8.5. I'm actually going to call this game a lot closer. I'm going to call it Detroit wins by 6 points.
All right. Pay has the Commanders. If you listen to Pay Dirt, you already know where I'm going with this because we were juxtaposed on this one as well. I'm taking the Lions, and here's what it reminds me a lot of last year. C.J. Stroud had that great rookie season, and Houston goes into the playoffs and wins that opening round playoff victory. What happens the following week? They go into the Ravens, they catch a buzzsaw and a beatdown. I think we're going to have something similar here. Scary Terry, very good. But that's about the only person I think that can stay. I don't think Ertz has the power of Laporta. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is better. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is better. It'll be interesting to see, Jameson Williams, does he hit a big one? Lions are getting healthier on defense as well, and their offensive line is as good as it is in football. I take the Lions to cover this one. Again, I think this could be a 17-point game or more in my mind. Tate, what's your thought on this game?
Well, 9 out of 10 times, every time the 3-1-3 come up, I roll with the 3-1-3. But this game, I'm feeling a little different. I don't have as much belief in their defense if they don't jump on the Commanders and get out front. I think Houston went to Baltimore. Houston's an indoor team going outside in the cold in January against Baltimore. The Commanders are an outdoor team going inside to Detroit. And I think Jaden Daniels only gets scarier on turf in a dome. I expect him to have a big game. They got Austin Eckler back. That's a nice addition. He played a little bit last week. It's a nice addition. They went on the road in Tampa and Baker. I think they can keep it a close game in Detroit. I believe Terry McLaurin made All-Pro. You know that, B-Dirt?
I do not.
I'm going to look because I think him and St. Brown think were the two second-team receivers. I could be wrong. But I want to look just before I comment on it. The All-Pro team. Oh, Jamar Chase was the first team. Yeah, that's why I think the other guys made the second team. Wide receivers. Okay. Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra St. Brown made first team. Second team.
Top 5 wide receiver in the league.
McLaurin made second team All-Pro, along with A.J. Brown and CeeDee Lamb. So, yeah, I think Jaden Daniels will create a lot of explosives, especially in that game, in that Henry Ford Field on turf. I look for it to be a close game. I'm definitely taking the Commanders at 8.5. I'm actually rooting for the Commanders this game because of my close alliances with the DC team now. My brother-in-law and one of his sons and people I know like the Commanders. They haven't seen a playoff win in 35 years. Hadn't seen a playoff win before last week for 20 years. They haven't seen a Super Bowl win in 35 years or a Super Bowl appearance in that long.
And you produce a Commander podcast.
I do. Which we haven't run one in about 10 days. These guys must be celebrating because I'm not going to chase the fellas down and get them to do their podcast. They reach out to me, we get things set up.
My Detroit Lions bros, they told me they had a cross show this week. I thought it was with you, but
Oh, it was supposed to be. I completely forgot about that. If we was doing it, I would have been prompted to remember. Oh yeah, called B False in June. But no, it didn't happen. But yeah, we did discuss that. And like me, I did a pay. I failed to notify anyone of anything that happened. But yeah, man, I'm gonna take the points 8.5 and the over under 51.
55.5.
Ooh. I think it's gonna be a lot of offense. 51 is taking over. 55.5, I'll stay off of it. But I actually have the Commanders winning, and just makes it out the range of that half, B-Dirt, 31-24. That's my pick, but I'm taking the Commanders in the points for my win.
All right.
But I would pick him on the money line too.
So far, we have Tate by himself on the Texans, me by myself on the Lions. Let's see if we can get Pay by himself on one of these teams. We got the Rams going into Philadelphia, getting 6 points, over under 43.5. This is an interesting game because the Eagles have a really good offensive line. They have good skill players. They have Saquon Barkley playing in Philly. The Rams come across the country to play in cold weather. The Rams have Kyron Williams.
What's the weather in that game you guys were talking about earlier?
That's the one where they're going to get 2-3 inches of snow, and it's going to be like in the 20s.
Okay.
But listen, I really like what the Rams have been doing on defense recently. They're getting pressure with their front four. The defensive line has been playing much better in my mind. Kyron Williams, I like it, running back. Do the Eagles just have too much, or do they have too much going on? I just feel like the Rams always have a puncher's chance. This has been a tough game for me to pick. The Rams +6. I wish this was 7. I really do wish it was 7. Over under 43.5. Man, I just don't believe in the Eagles. I just don't. I'm going to take the Rams +6. It's just more gut feeling. This is not something I would bet, just so everybody knows where I'm at on this. This is not a betting thing. This is just a gut feeling. I'm taking the Rams +6 at the Eagles. Pay. Oh, Tate's back. Tate, you wanna tell me what you think about the Rams Eagles and who you're taking?
What's the spread again?
Rams +6, over under 43.5.
Oh yeah, I got the Eagles, man. I mean, the Eagles are the best team in the NFC anyway. I've been saying that for some months now. Yeah, I mean, Saquon Barkley's going to go off against the Rams. That's when he had his 240-yard game on a Sunday night against the Rams in their house.
Mm-hmm.
The Rams have been playing better football since then, but I don't see Matt Stafford's not a cold weather quarterback for I'm concerned. He played the majority of all his games in the dome, be it Detroit, be it the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to get out there, and the snow's going to be a factor. The cold's going to be a factor. And I lean on Saquon Barkley more than I do Kyron Williams. I think Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua are great. Are great. I also think AJ Brown and Devontae Smith are a great tandem too. So yeah, I like Jalen Hurts running the ball, so he'll be more productive than Matt Stafford from the quarterback position, just because his running capability. He'll get a touchdown or two on the ground. Jalen Hurts will. Saquon Barkley. I got Eagles getting 4 rushing touchdowns, just controlling the game. The Eagles probably by about 9 or 10, but definitely beating them by 6 in their house.
The bet that I took out of this game, just so you know, is an anytime touchdown by Saquon Barkley.
Oh, that's happening.
That's the one bet I took.
That was in our pick 6. B Dirt.
It was. It sure was.
At our gambling show, Pay Dirt, that you check every week live on our Running Through the Jungle YouTube channel, and also on the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan channel. So, how I feel about this game, the weather is going to play a factor. Those LA boys, they got to fly all the way across country. You got to play in 20 some odd degree weather. It's supposed to be snow 3 to 4 inches in Philly. They're going to be a raucous crowd, and I think their emotions are all over the place. They had an emotional game in Arizona last week when they upset the Minnesota Vikings. They got to do that all over again, and they got to try to run another upset, try to run another fade all the way in Philly. That's tough to get up for. And they got a lot going on in LA to try to keep mustering up that type of energy. Are they gonna fly 400 people all over to Philly again? I don't know, man. It's kind of a lot to ask for. And then you got the whole Cooper Cup thing that I talked about on Pay Dirt. It's been 4 straight games of him 1 catch.
Yeah, he's been
so it's
lackluster to say the least.
Yeah, Matt Stafford's not even looking his way. So it's pretty much Puka Nacua, the tight end, and Kyron Williams. That's their entire offense. They're riding the defense. I think between the battle of the defense between these two teams, between the Philadelphia Eagles and LA Rams, I think the Eagles defense is a lot better. Somebody that should be on the Bears, Jalen Carter, who's an all-pro this year. He's a game wrecker. Jared Verse, not to say that Jared Verse, who also should have been on the Bears, it's a game record for the LA Rams. But the Eagles, they just got all pros all up and down the field on that side of the ball. Jalen Hurts is proven in the playoffs. Saquon Barkley is probably the second best running back in the league, if not the first. I do think he's going to score a touchdown. And I think playing at home, the Eagles are tired of hearing about the LA Rams and what all the poverty narrative that the media is kicking for them. They're ready to serve notice, and AJ Brown is ready to break out. He's tired of reading. He wants to catch footballs. I got the Eagles. Give me the Eagles by 13.
So, just a look under the crystal ball as far as the matchups go and everything. I think you guys made great points. Sometimes when I'm stuck, I look at things that I look for things that don't make sense to me in the gambling world. Right now, 2/3 of the bets have been going in the Eagles all week, and this line still has not moved. Normally, there's a reason when that happens. So I just think that the people that know better than me. That's the reason why I went with the Rams here. Again, not something I'm going to put my money on. I put my money on the anytime touchdown by Saquon. All right. Last but not least, Pay, I'm going to go right back to you for this one because it is your Ravens at the Bills. The Bills are getting 1.5 points, 1.5 point dog at home, over under 51.5. We did talk about it. If you weren't here on the regular Homies show, we did talk about how the weather will be affecting this one. It is going to be below 0, and there will be some snow in Buffalo. Not ideal, but that's what it is.
Hey, the line started with Buffalo favor, right? It started out that way.
I have only looked at it from Tuesday night until now. Okay. At Tuesday night, they were not favored.
I'm going back to Sunday night though, when the game first was. Yeah, but okay.
And right now, it's 51% of the money is on the Ravens, 49% is on the Bills, so it's very tight here. Mm-hmm. Pay, what's your take on this Ravens-Bills game?
It's an interesting thing to be a home dog in a divisional round, right? The number 2 seed, the Buffalo Bills, they find themselves in a precarious situation with an MVP candidate at that. The weather's going to be in their favor. I already said they got the home field advantage. The coldest game that Lamar Jackson's ever going to play in. And I'm still taking the Baltimore Ravens. Quote the Raven, Edgar Allan Poe gang, Omar Little, Avon Barksdale, Stringer Bell, Marlon Stanfield. We riding. Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson taking this thing all the way home, and they're gonna go to Kansas City and serve notice to them next week. Ravens by 6.
All right, we've got a pay on the Ravens. Tate, what's this looking like for you? You agree with them, or you riding with the Buffalo Bills?
No, I'm agreeing with Pay pretty much, man. Baltimore looked dominant last week. Buffalo's a better team than Pittsburgh, but they already whooped Buffalo this season. I do mean whoop. I mean, like we say, belt to ass. Definitely, they got it. Buffalo got it. And yeah, I think the way they played, the way that game plan offensively was schemed up, they are won't have an answer for it either, just like Pittsburgh did. If Lamar Jackson runs the ball 10 to 15 times and it's going to be cold, you brought up earlier the physicality King Henry runs with in the battle of attrition, I think Baltimore is a tougher team. Buffalo's a tough team too. You can't play in these elements that they playing on the East Coast and not be tough. I think Josh Allen is a huge playmaker, but I think on the outside, I'm not counting on Buffalo's playmakers at the receiver position. I do like Dalton Knox and I like James Cook, but some of the interior pay mentioned for Baltimore, for Baltimore is going to do their thing. Raekwon Smith is going to I think be a big factor in stopping James Cook in the run game. And Kyle Hamilton. Matabuke at every level, Roquan and Kyle Hamilton. And don't forget, ever since they moved Kyle Hamilton back to free safety to watch the field and put Marlon Humphreys in the slot, you don't know what that defense is going to do. Humphreys can come off the slot and blitz. They scheme things up. Roquan can come hit the A gap and get pressure in Josh Allen's face, make him roll out and roll out into a pressure. A lot of stuff that they can do with the Baltimore defense, and I think the run game by Baltimore is going to show up, and the run game for Buffalo is going to be slow. So I like Baltimore probably 27-23. So, yeah, I would take Baltimore covering that 1.5 as a road favorite. I would definitely take that. And the over-under would what be, Dirt?
51.5.
27-23. I'm just missing that too. So I guess I'll take the under. And the weather going to be a factor in that too.
Is it like, I don't know. We grew up, most of it, we're Midwest, North, we're used to the elements. Do you like the weather being a factor in these games, or does it not bother you, or would you rather not have it? Bay, you're shaking your head. What do you got?
As a Chicagoan, I hate football weather. I don't like it. I don't want the weather to be a narrative or an excuse for anybody. Put this underneath a dome, underneath a roof, and let the athletes ball out.
I kind of agree with him too. I don't like the injuries that we've seen turf cause. That's the one thing I don't know how to get past. They've got to do a better job with that. But I'd rather see a clean game. I'd rather see the best team win, regardless of the elements. Tate, what do you think?
I think the elements is a part of football. Always been a part of football. You got a lot of teams a lot more teams playing in the dome now than you did 30, 35 years ago. So you will have then that's their advantage, right? If you play the game and you earn home field advantage, that environmental aspect of it is part of your home field advantage. So, now granted, it's probably easier for an outdoor team to go indoors and play versus vice versa. But still, it's always been part of the game. It's part of the game. So I like the elements. I don't necessarily like when they decide games, but if you got to make adjustments, just like when San Francisco went out there to Buffalo, got smashed, right? Yeah, it's just part of the game, man. So I'm completely with it.
All right. So I wanted to get into that before while you brought it up, but as far as what I'm looking at this game, I also think the Ravens are going to win this game. I think they'll win it by more than 1 point. So that pretty much sews it up that the Buffalo Bills will be winning because we just gave them the kiss of death with all three of us taking the Ravens. I will make this prediction.
Is that the only game we agreed on?
It is. I will make this prediction though. Winner of this game takes the hardware home. This is a Super Bowl game to me.
Do it for Bodie.
So whoever wins this game is going to win the Super Bowl, even against the NFC.
That's my prediction. Yep.
Okay.
Now we do have a couple of like I have the Rams. You Tate and Pay are on the Commanders. Tate, you're also on the Texans. And those are the teams that are not top 3 seeds that are left. Do you see a situation where any of those 3 teams, the Texans, the Commanders, or the Rams, could make some noise and make a run to the Super Bowl? Tate, what do you think?
Highly unlikely. Of those,
Who would you give the best chance?
Probably the Commanders. I think they played the most beatable team, even though it's the number 1 seed. I think the Commanders are going to play in the Dome in Houston, beat the outdoor team Houston going to play in Kansas City, and beats the inside team Rams going to play in Philly. So I think the Commanders have the best chance to have an upset. And I'm rooting for CJ though, because I'm Patrick Mahomes overkill. Tired of that guy. Tired of the Chiefs. So I'm rooting for CJ, but I wouldn't pick them to win. I picked them to cover the 8.5. I wouldn't pick them to win outright.
So you'd say not likely, but you give the Commanders a puncher's chance.
Yeah, the best chance of the 3.
Okay. All right, Pay. Do you think any of those 3 teams have a chance to make it to the Super Bowl? The Texans, Commanders, or Rams?
I think out of those 3, the Rams have the best shot. I mean, a lot of people are on the Rams bandwagon right now because they've got a little bit of a little bit of moxie going about them. The offense looks nice right now. The defense looks, overpowering right now. Any given Sunday, the Detroit Lions can fall over them, trip up in their face, and the Rams can mess around and be in the Super Bowl, right? The other 2, Houston Texans, nah. And the other team you said was the
Texans, Commanders, or Rams?
Commanders. I think that's the third. Well, they're the second team. The third Texans is obviously to get for the Super Bowl. There's a little harder for them, but the Commanders, they got to beat the Lions and then mess around to beat the winner of the Eagles, Rams. I don't see it. I don't see it possible. You mean to tell me Jaden Daniels is that cold that he gonna go to the Super Bowl for rookie year? Nah, I think.
That's just it. He's not going to be cold because he's playing indoors. Matt Stafford, LA boy from indoors, is going to be playing outside in the snow in Philly.
Yeah, but to get to the Super Bowl, the Commanders will have to go to Philly.
Yeah, but that's a divisional game. They're from the East Coast, so they've played in that.
Okay,
it's too much. I think. Listen, I don't want to get off on a sidebar, but I think a lot of what the Commanders do on offense is a lot of smoke and mirrors. But no, the difficulty, it goes like this. Number 1 difficulty is the Houston Texans. Number 2, Commanders, and number 3, the Rams. But the Rams have the best argument to get the Super Bowl out of the 3.
And we just see that the opposite. I mean, because if the Rams win, then they would go where? To the winner of Commanders Detroit. They have a better chance there because is not Detroit's not going to be cold if Detroit wins. And I live in the area here. Cold is it's been a little colder recently, but cold here is like 34 degrees. I mean,
it sounds like we agree because if the Rams was to mess around and beat Detroit, they would go play the
Rams don't play Detroit.
They play the Eagles.
Right. So they mess around.
That's the game they're not going to get over because they're playing in Philly.
Right. So I think they have out of the 3 teams, they have it's more likely that they make the Super Bowl than anybody else.
So you're saying it's more likely the Rams beat the Philly in Philly than it is the Commanders beat Detroit in Detroit.
What I'm saying is it's more likely.
Well, that's all that matters right now. For what B-Dog is saying. Maybe
I can see the Rams. I can visualize the Rams beating the Lions. I can visualize the Rams beating the Eagles or whatever the hell. I can't visualize Houston beating the Chiefs right. I can't visualize the other team, the Commanders, beating the Lions and then the Eagles too. I can't.
But if they can beat the Lions, more likely for them to beat the Lions than the Rams to beat the Eagles in Philly, you would have to pick the Commanders. Because they will have the chance to go to the Super Bowl, in my book, in my opinion.
Okay.
I don't think there's any shot for any of the three teams. Listen, I'm taking chalk this year. I don't think we have a team that's hot enough going into it. Sometimes, you see some of these teams. The Bengals in 21 were a perfect example. Got hot at the end of the season, carried it in. When you're looking at it, Jimmy Garoppolo has had the best passing game for the Rams this year.
Who's that against?
Who cares? It was Jimmy Garoppolo.
No.
It wasn't even the starter. It was when they were resting all their players.
It was indoors, though.
Well, it doesn't matter. It wasn't any of their starters. But my point is like I don't think they're hot enough to get in. I don't think the Commanders are hot enough to get in. I don't think that the Texans obviously aren't. Only won in the last couple games. So I just don't think. Maybe there's always a chance. I don't see it.
So you picking the Rams too? The best chance?
No, I don't think anybody has a shot in hell. How about that?
Well, then you're not doing the exercise.
Zero chance.
You're not doing the exercise.
Zero. No.
Okay.
I mean, the Rams have the pedigree. Here's what I think about the Commanders. It reminds me way too much of last year's Texans teams. So I think the same thing's going to happen. I don't think – I just don't think they've got what it takes to pull it off. I think they're going to get beat by the Lions. I think the Rams have a puncher's chance against the Eagles. Obviously you may disagree, but I still think they do. So we'll see. Listen,
where Pay go? I mean,
Pay froze. I'm gonna guess that his internet collapsed on him. So we have no Pay, we have no G. I was gonna ask those guys about Cooper Flagg from Duke. I was very interested in what Pay had to say about him signing a deal with Fanatics. And G would have been interesting with his NIL. And G was talking about Cooper Flagg last year about him being in high school. Averaging, what's he averaging here? 18.7 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists for Duke right now. Just last week before, he dropped 42 on Notre Dame.
Yeah, dude's nice. I've seen he was nice at the beginning of the season. I believe when they opened up against Kansas, they lost, but he played a really good game. I think he's probably a top 2 pick in the NBA draft as of right now.
You think he wins the Naismith Award?
No. I think the center from Auburn will get that. Forgot his name. But yeah, but he'll be a second team All-American as a true freshman. And we pick on him enough when he's wrong. Shout out to Big G. He was calling Cooper Flagg out last year. I gave Big G credit on the know-it-alls last Sunday. I said Big G was a year ahead of schedule because now Shea is greater than Luka.
Mm-hmm.
He was saying that for the past 2 years.
Yeah, and as soon as he gave in and said Luka was better than Shea, the table slipped. Boom, immediately.
Right.
That's good stuff.
So
all right, man. Well,
after left a comment, and I was going to Pay before Pay got dropped. I was going to ask you guys. Well, let's just cut right to it. Who's going to be playing in the Super Bowl?
Oh, I got a Rust Belt Super Bowl, man. Ravens beat the Lions.
Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. I mean, that would be a great Super Bowl too, even though the Ravens smashed the Lions last season in Baltimore. But the Lions will stand a chance because the Super Bowl, like you said, you like to see the games, is in a nice venue indoors, down in Louisiana, right? Is that where it's at? Yeah, Super Bowl's in New Orleans.
Caesars Superdome.
Okay. But yeah, I'd probably so after it has KC versus Detroit, I don't think it'll be KC. And I'll be honest, Patrick Mahomes would suffice in what I would like to see from a historic standpoint. I want to see two black quarterbacks against each other in the Super Bowl. Never happened. Would like to see that. So there's a lot of combinations that could happen. It could be Jaden Daniels. It could be anybody. It could be Jalen Hurts. Yeah. Then on the other side, you got Stafford and Goff for the traditional quarterbacks, and you got Josh Allen on the other side as a really talented mobile quarterback. That's a wee boy, you know. Yeah, but so if I'm picking, I got Baltimore, and I probably got Philly.
Gavin Anthony said, "Wait, Baltimore is Rust Belt. Yeah, that's where it starts or
Yeah,
ends, however you want to
yeah,
look
because
at it.
because of the shipping docks and all that stuff like that.
Yeah.
Baltimore people were blue collar, just like all across the rest of the Rust Belt in the Midwest. You go Baltimore, then you probably some elements of Philly, but Philly is
Pittsburgh, definitely. Baltimore,
Pittsburgh,
Pittsburgh,
Cleveland.
Cleveland, Detroit. Yeah.
Yeah, those cities definitely. So yeah, but no, so that's who I have. I wonder who Pay would have, but yeah, shout out to Afton for getting that started. I mean, I was going to ask it, but Jack Bauer from what was the show called with Jack Bauer? 24?
Yeah, 24.
Yeah, from 24 fame says Philly versus Buffalo. Yeah, yeah,
Buffalo's
Gavin.
Rust Belt. Buffalo's in the Rust Belt.
Buffalo is a Rust Belt. Yeah, they are. They are.
Yep.
Gavin, yeah, it hasn't happened. We've had African American quarterbacks play in the game. The first one to play, I believe, was Doug Williams, and he won it, right?
Won the MVP.
Yeah, won MVP, but that was the first time, I believe. Donovan McNabb's been in it. Jalen Hurts has been in it. Patrick Mahomes been in it, but not against another African American quarterback. So I just think that the two African American coaches that going against each other, that was Tony Dungy and Lovie Smith, but not two quarterbacks.
I dig it. All right, man, we got to touch on it. I was hoping to have like a whole bunch of bloviating here from G and a whole bunch of back and forth with him and Pay, and now we ain't got neither one of them. All we got is two sensible football fans to talk about the college football playoffs. Your Ohio State Buckeyes are taking on the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, and Ohio State is favored by 8.5 points with an over-under of 46.5. Give me your thoughts on this game, and let me know who you got and why you're taking Ohio State.
Did I say I was taking Ohio State? But no, man, I think it's going to be a good game for the first half. I think the defenses will show up early, but I think just as time goes on, it's going to be hard to prevent difficult to prevent the big play, the explosives from Ohio State. I think sometime in the second quarter they get one, but it's not going to put the game out of reach. Then when the third quarter starts, they'll have time to go in and assess and make adjustments, and the offense will start to. The goal of Ohio State to me is score 30. You score 30, it's a wrap.
It's going to be tough for Notre Dame to get there.
Right. To me, the goal is to ensure you come out and score 30. If you got to play aggressive from go and put Notre Dame in a comeback situation where they got to come back, it allows you to let your defense hunt. Notre Dame doesn't have a wide receiver that scares me. You know what I mean? On the outside, their running backs and Riley Leonard's running ability is key. You stop that and make Riley Leonard beat you from the pocket. And you scoring on your possessions to put them further behind, and you kind of got them where you want them. So I'm picking Ohio State and taking give them the 8.5, just because I think drive for drive, eventually Ohio State will start to break through more than Notre Dame. And like I said, the goal got to be 30. Ohio State gets 30, I don't think they have any worries. It becomes a defensive struggle like that Texas game did last week. Texas played a lot better than I was expecting. I mean,
I
ultimately
agree.
they end up covering because Jack Sawyer got that strip fumble for a touchdown. So I didn't really rub that in with Mob. I said they won by 2 scores, and they ultimately did, but it was because of that, right? I mean, Texas was this close to tying the game.
Doorstep.
Yeah, on the doorstep. Yeah. Now I still at that time thought that Will Howard would have took him down for a game-winning field goal had Texas scored, but that sack return play just ended the game.
I agree with you. I thought I was looking good. I mean, I figured I saw it the same way you did. I thought it was going to get tied up. I thought Ohio State would score either, a big play touchdown, like they did on the 75-yard screen pass, or get that field goal.
Mm-hmm.
So unfortunately, that didn't happen.
Well, if the
my
field goal
7.5 points didn't matter.
Right, you win with the field goal win.
I win with a touchdown at 7.5.
Oh, 7.5. Yeah.
So I was good. But this one at 8.5. I think the key to the game, like keys for Notre Dame, because I agree. I think Ohio State's a favorite here. To me, Notre Dame has to control time of possession. Can they run the ball effectively enough? How is Love doing with his knee that's banged up? What's it going to be like for their right tackles playing against a very, very stout Ohio State defensive line? And can Leonard, get those 5-6 yard runs and control the tempo of the game? Because Ohio State's one of those offenses that you try to contain, but you can't stop, right? They're going to hit a couple big plays. Right. Period, point blank. There's too many incredible athletes at skill positions. Smith, Henderson, Becca. Wait. What's the other wide receiver? Abuka. Yeah. So those guys, I think, you're going to get away for at least 1 or 2 big plays. So I kind of see it the way you do. I'm rooting. This is just going to be plain as I can here. I'm kind of rooting for Notre Dame. As a Michigan fan, I don't like either one of these teams. But I know that you've seen a national championship that you remember fondly. I don't know that my friend Tim has. So I'm going to kind of root for him because after, last year and having that feeling.
Who you putting your money on?
It's pretty great. Probably some prop bets. Prop bets. I'll probably have a couple ducats on Ohio State.
Okay, yeah. But it's okay to place your money on the smart money and then root for the other team to.
Tate, I do it every other week. Every other week.
Right.
But yeah, man. What time are you guys going on Sunday with the homies? Is it going to be affected by game times, or what are you doing there?
We hadn't talked about it, man, but now that you mention it, I mean, that game is Buffalo Ravens, so maybe we try and go on like an hour early. I'm just talking. I haven't talked to G.
Yeah.
And G looking a lot like Ma right here, ain't he? Like not showing up after you get the whooping. Like that one year, Ma didn't show up when Cowboys lost to somebody. Ma was MIA. Last minute, he texted us he was on the road somewhere. He couldn't make it after the
Cowboys. Because it was a week after.
It was when Green Bay beat them last year.
Yeah, it was the week after they had beat the Bengals.
Right.
And or 2 weeks or whatever. No. I'll tell you what it was. Michigan lost to TCU. That was 2 years ago, wasn't it?
That was 2 years ago.
2 years ago now.
didn't lose that year.
Michigan lost to TCU, and then I had to come on and pay off a bet, and I was ready to go in, and Mod wasn't there, so I didn't do it. I waited for him to come back like 2 3 weeks later.
Dallas lost to San Francisco that year.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah,
Yeah, the know-it-alls, not the homies. I think I might have said the homies. I apologize. Good catch, Afton. It's all the same to me.
Yeah,
we're entangled.
They're kind of morphed together.
Yeah, we're entangled. It's just a different group chat.
I tell you what, we didn't talk about it. But I'm watching this Ohio State Indiana game right now. It's an overtime. Ohio State's down 1 with 10 seconds left. I'd like to see the college game allow you to bring the ball to half court.
Oh, I think it really does wonders. Like it's pretty fun to watch that in the pro game because you know if you save your timeouts correctly and stuff, like you can make a big comeback.
Right, from a strategic standpoint, I agree.
Yeah,
but Ohio State just lost. Shot got blocked. Bruce Thornton got the ball, picked it up after the block shot, and he shot at the buzzer, rimmed in and out. Was halfway down and came out. They lost 77.
Did you see Michigan's loss yesterday? 9.5 point favorites playing in Minnesota. They got beaten overtime by a half court heave.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
What are you gonna do?
But Ohio State drops to 2-5 in the Big Ten. It's like 5 or 6 Big Ten teams ranked in the top 25.
Yeah, listen, I'm really happy with Michigan's coach right now and the way they're playing ball. They turned the ball over a little bit too much for my liking, but they're a fun team to watch. Compared to last year, I'll take it.
Okay, yeah. Haven't watched the whole game yet, but I'll check them out as Big Ten play. Obviously, when they play Ohio State, I'll be watching that. You remember back when Indiana was always good, man?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, always. For you guys that don't know.
Yeah, Bobby Knight, and then for a little bit after that too, after Bobby Knight left. Yeah, it was always good.
Okay, yeah.
Well, we're past that hour episode here, man. We should probably put a wrap on this and put a bow on it. Any closing remarks before we get out of here?
None really. We did our game predictions. I guess we won't be back on here till next Friday. Obviously, the homies Friday night. I'm gonna go ahead and take Ohio State, and Ohio State wins by more than 10.
I agree with you, unfortunately. Sorry, Tim.
And I didn't see Tim was here earlier talking about Big G got lost in McDonald's drive-thru. I ain't seen him since then.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Late night. All right. Well, we appreciate all you guys rocking with us in the chat, fam. As always, if you have not hit that thumbs up before you get out of here, please share us. Tell a friend to tell a friend where you get your info and where you rock it on Friday nights with the homies. As always, if Pay was here, he'd tell you to lock up Brett Favre. So I might as well go ahead and remind y'all. He's wretched. Lock him up. And we're out of here.
Lock up Brett Favre. Peace.